Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome author, award winning advocate, speaker, fertility expert, and founder of the heroine movement, Blaise Hunter. Welcome, Blaise.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to speak with you today.
Blaise, firstly, congratulations on all your achievements. Can you please share with us how your entrepreneurial journey began?
For sure. I just appreciate having this platform to speak and share my message. I was a radio broadcaster and publicist by trade back in the day, but I decided to stay at home when my daughter was born 7 years ago. And over these years, I've been also battling a very rare autoimmune disease. And through that disease, I also experienced 3 miscarriages. And from that, I just spiraled into a deep depression and was just so grief stricken by the trauma of losing babies and not being able to get over it and find support and figure a way out of the depression in the dark maze. And finally, one day, I just realized I didn't want this to be my life anymore. I felt like I'm in my 30s. Is this my life? And I wanted to find me again. So I just began to write to heal my heart. And the words just flowed out of me. It was so cathartic. And from writing through my pain, I began my healing process. I began to find me again. And through that, I birthed a movement. This was never supposed to be a business. But
Yeah.
once my book, Heroine, was published, it just organically developed into one. And then here I am today inspiring people all over the world to birth their dreams. And I'm a living example that you can have peace, joy, and purpose even amongst the struggles.
Amazing. So, Blaise, as a fertility expert, you tackle issues women have or that women have. Can you share with us more about this and how have you helped women overcome these challenges?
Absolutely. I just love this opportunity to share about this message. And I am a fertility expert, but no, I don't help people get pregnant. This
Yes.
is a
No,
different.
let's just be clear.
Yeah, I found a different niche to help people birth peace and balance amongst the pain of infertility and loss. There are experts everywhere around the world to help you get pregnant, but I saw a big gap in the system when it comes to emotional support and actual resource tools to help women and men navigate these difficult matters. And that's where my book came into play. I've had 3 miscarriages. I've had the DNCs. I've had the complications. I've flushed the tissue down the toilet and had to watch that and be traumatized for that. I lost lives. I have grieved and I have felt alone. And I felt shame that I couldn't do what women are supposed to do. And no one was there to help me through it. So my pain, in essence, became my purpose. I decided to draw on all of those experiences, the knowledge that I've had, the firsthand experience in seeing the gaps in the system, and really become the change to bridge these gaps to help others with their journey too. And just so often we get stuck in this depression and grief and the heaviness of it all that we can't find our way out. So I thought, you know what, we need to expose this and talk about it. And even though we might be going through a barren season in our lives, that doesn't mean we are barren. We are mothers of purpose, and we need to pick up those miscarried dreams and really birth incredible things along this journey, and we can turn it around. So I teach people to turn their pain into their gift, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of your focus is on women and motherhood and the various challenges women have in all aspects of life. So can you share with us your approach and what are some of the tools and approaches you take, with clients or with people with your help?
For sure. I'll give you a little bit of a backstory here. When my daughter was about 3 years old, I had an aha moment just looking at her. And I thought, like, how am I going to get my daughter to go to school, to grow up and be strong and confident and have a good voice and know her worth? And it just dawned on me, if her biggest role model in her life, her mother, has bad self-esteem and thinks she's fat and ugly and has no voice or purpose, how am I going to get my daughter to do what I'm not even living out myself? I'm her role model. My voice will become her inner voice. Her mama isn't practicing what she preaches. So this really sent me into a big mission of personal growth myself and learning to love myself, because I wanted to be the change for my baby girl. And once I started on this self-love journey, I noticed the majority of women in this world feel like me. They feel the pressure to be perfect. They feel pressure to have perfect bodies, to be beautiful. They think that the number on the scale dictates their worth. They feel pressure to be a perfect wife, to be a perfect mom. And it's causing such a ripple effect of generations feeling unworthy and not knowing their purpose. So I really make it my mission to debunk these myths that women need to have perfection in their life. And I challenge us to just remove all of those masks we use to protect ourselves and make us feel beautiful and enough. And I teach them to love who they are just as they are, perfectly imperfect. And it's not about fixing anyone. It's really about removing distorted filters to appreciate our perfection within, so we can rise up and be the heroes of our lives.
Absolutely. So, what are some of your biggest lessons and learnings been within your career?
I don't even know if we have time for all of that. There's so many.
What are the ones that stand out for you the most?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that for my journey in my career is that when you set out on a journey to truly love yourself, flaws and all, and accept yourself at all costs, you will be challenged with that very matter every single day. And you better hold the line on that. Otherwise, the world will eat you up and spit you out. I have lost friends and family over this career choice. I have put my own blood, sweat, and tears into this. I have unlearned so many toxic patterns, and I've completely changed the trajectory of my life. And when you do that, it will cause an upheaval in your entire life. And I wasn't prepared for that. No one told me that that was going to happen. No one prepared me for that. And that's been the biggest lesson, that I didn't have any thought as to the outcome of these decisions other than it would be a positive one because I'm making myself a better person. But the lesson is, without the grit, there will never be a pearl, and I have to fight for it. And what are you willing to fight for? How bad do you want this in your career and in your life, right?
Absolutely. So you're an international speaker as well, so obviously multi-talented. What compelled you to get into the speaking industry, and was this an organic process for you?
Well, so I was a radio journalist and morning show host for many years. So I have been trained in public speaking, but this wasn't the initial goal for this project, this book, this career. It wasn't even meant to be a career. But one day my publisher was just talking to me about setting up a Facebook page for the book. And she just said, so when you create your page, make sure you put author and speaker. And I was like, what? No, I mean, I know that's my background, but that's not why I'm doing this. That's not why I'm writing the book. And I don't plan on speaking. And she just responded with, trust me, you'll be a speaker. And before the book was even released, I was booking events to speak and keynote. And I think it's because my book is full of practical skills and resource tools for women to follow and tap into their inner heroine that it translates so well for an audience. And I am 100% authentic and passionate about this topic. It's real for me, and it's really electrifying. And I legit wear a cape and a sword on stage, and I roar like a lion. And that's completely me. It's definitely Blaise. I'm not trying to be somebody else. And I give my entire heart when I speak. And I think that's my goal when I do my talks, to create an impact that you feel like you could leap tall buildings with a single bound just by my energy. And you would never know how ill I have been when you see one of my talks. People often think I must be so drained after I get off stage, and it really is the opposite. It fuels me. Doing this is my medicine, and I think that's why I put my entire soul into speaking. It's really a matter of life or death for me to live.
Wow, incredible. So you're also the author of a book which we have touched on. A book called Heroine. Can you share with us, with the audience, what the book is about and what compelled you to write the book?
Sure. I love this question. You know, I really boil it down to, this book is really the ultimate love story, a self-love story, how a woman removed the masks and showed the world who she really is. I let vulnerability become my superpower. I share my journey of learning to love myself, flaws and all. And I realized self-image doesn't just affect body image. It was so much deeper than that. And I wasn't a confident woman or mother. Motherhood is freaking hard. And I just felt so much pressure to be the perfect mom. And I struggled so much. And then after dealing with secondary infertility and 3 miscarriages, my self-esteem took yet another blow. And then another aha moment happened to me. I cannot be the only woman who feels this way, who feels the pressure to project perfection. So I just decided to be the voice for womankind and encourage us to be the heroes. I included 30 women photographed in their underwear, and I interviewed them, so their pictures and their answers are all featured in the book. And it really solidified for me that we are all feeling the same way. And it's time to change that narrative of how we think. We are badass, and I think we need to celebrate who we are. And I just started to write to heal, but now it's helping others heal too.
Wow, amazing. So that leads me to the question on leadership, which is obviously a big subject at the moment, or lack of leadership. So what would you say makes your leadership style different and unique to others in your industry? And what do you believe needs to change the current narrative, both for entrepreneurship and on a global scale?
Yeah, I think my style is very unique. And it's based off the quote of Fred DeVito: what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. And I'm not here to give another raw motivational talk and pump you up so you can go back home and right back to your old habits. We all need to be challenged. We all need to grow. And if we aren't changing and growing, then we are stagnant. And that isn't living to our fullest potential. And I tell people what we need to hear, not what they want to hear, what we need to hear. And it's uncomfortable. And it's presented in a whole other way with relatable analogies. It really challenges the mind, the heart, and the gut to process it and take action. And I think another thing that makes my style so effective is that I take the challenge with my audience and with my clients. I stay vulnerable. I stay hungry for growth. So often I see people in my industry, they start off this way, but success and sheer length of time in the business slowly pulls them back into some protective bubble where they're on autopilot. They say stuff that they can say in their sleep, right? Like they've done this a million times, but are they living what they preach now? I think that's the problem with leadership and entrepreneurship on a global scale and as a scale as a whole. At some point, we lose the core of why we started out to lead, and we get greedy and we get complacent and we don't keep aspiring to peak. We don't push ourselves to the limits anymore, and we don't be the change every single day. So we have to start now changing that and really challenging ourselves and not trying to put on this mask of perfection or that we've reached it and now you can join me too. No, like we're always on a journey of peaking. And I live as if there was no tomorrow. I learn something every day. I am consciously living. I am hungry for more. I am content, but I'm also striving for more at the same time. And I want to be led like that. Wouldn't that inspire more people to see leaders actually live like that today? So I really want to be that leader that I want. And I'm becoming that for myself, my family, and the people I impact. And we need to just inject more vulnerability and more hunger into things. And leaders, we need to walk the talk.
Absolutely. So that leads me to, what are some of your biggest career highlights?
Oh man, it's been amazing. But yeah, I'll sum it up here for you. I guess winning the Woman of Influence Award a couple years ago was a huge highlight, but also being featured as the author of the day at the Women's International day at the biggest mall in North America, at West Edmonton Mall in Canada here. And it was pretty epic just to be alongside a featured author among other great authors and women that have carved out a path as leaders and heroines. But my most amazing highlight is actually just seeing my 7-year-old daughter breathe fire, all because her mama decided to be her own hero and be her daughter's superhero. So I am doing what I set out to do, to be the change for her. So that's the biggest one, I guess.
Wow, amazing. So you also have your own podcast called Blaise the Trail. What specifically do you focus on, and where can people listen?
Yeah, I just wanted to compile all the teachings of my book, my courses, my life experiences, and other people's vulnerable stories, and make them accessible to the entire world. I want people to listen to Blaise the Trail and be so compelled to go out and conquer the world. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Business Innovators Network, Stitcher, and you can also access it on my website. And it's just another portal of really inspiring people to take action and be the heroes and breathe fire on this world.
Wow, incredible. So you're an award-winning advocate. Can you share with us more about what that means?
For sure. It's so amazing. In my book, I dedicate 3 chapters to talking about my infertility journey, the struggles, my miscarriages, and also identifying some serious gaps in the medical system when dealing with parents going through these issues. And part of that was that there was no support for mental and emotional health, and especially no support for men. Like, my husband grieved too, and he had nowhere to go for that. So after the book was published, so many couples were reaching out just on social media and messaging me and saying, us too, we're struggling too. And that really was the catalyst for me to create Footprints, Infertility and Pregnancy Loss Support Initiative, which included monthly support group meetings where men and women could come together and share, grieve, find support, and a community to help them navigate through all these issues. But then it got further. I also got funding to create support bags that are handed out on the front lines, in the hospitals, in the clinics. I'm changing the medical system, one clinic, one hospital at a time. And it really is given to parents the moment their loss happens. And it includes a certificate of life, a bracelet to honor our children's footprints and our angel babies, my book, resource tools for men and women for mental health, and how to cope with postpartum, because we were pregnant and the body still has to process all those hormones even after a loss. Yeah. And I also created a standing memorial in a park, so parents can go and honor their children's footprints. And the memorial says, no matter if they were a dream that hasn't come true or if they left before they really began, their footprints will forever be on our hearts. So I was nominated for the Woman of Influence Award in my area for health and wellness, and I won the Woman of Influence Award in that category for my work with Footprints. And that was such a highlight of my entire life because I made our babies count.
Wow, it's incredible. It's an amazing what you're doing and what you've done.
Thank you.
So what are the 3 key pieces of advice you would give to other entrepreneurs, and what legacy would you like to leave?
Yeah, I think this is a great question because I think everybody has a different spin on it based on their own experiences. But I think these 3 ingredients is the secret sauce to anyone in business or thinking about going into business. And again, it boils down to growth. Don't get stagnant. Don't get comfortable. Push the boundaries. Keep my 3 Ps in mind, which is continually create effective partnerships, collaborate, that expands all our reaches. So for entrepreneurs, a partnership is such a key ingredient for success. And then the second one is promoting the heck out of your business. We get lost in how to promote ourselves, how to create that noise about what we're doing, and be your biggest cheerleader. It's not bragging, it's promotion. So partnerships, promote, and then the third one is press on. Never give up. You got to pivot and press on. You will get beat up, you will fall, but dig in deep, get gritty, and press on.
Amazing. And what legacy would you like to leave?
I love this question. Some time ago, I came across a quote by Benjamin Franklin, and he says, most people die at 25 and don't get buried until 75. And that struck a chord with me. My legacy is that I live every moment of every day. I choose to be passionate and live with purpose. I choose to push through fear. I choose to rise after I take a massive fall. I choose joy. I choose experiences. I choose me. And I want people to think of me, Blaise, smile, and then say, she lived. She
Yeah.
never quit. She was her own hero. She lived. So that's my legacy.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. And if people want to connect with you, what is the best platforms to do so?
Yeah, they can visit my website, blaisehunter.com, BLAISE Hunter, HUNTER, blaisehunter.com. All my information is there, contact info. You can email me, you can get a hold of me anywhere from my website there, and I'd love to talk with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we can have you back in the future to see where your journey's taken you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on and just being able to share my story and my mission to help people be the heroes of their lives.
Awesome. Well, we will be in contact soon, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.